Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Now, if you've been tuning into my channel recently, then you will notice that we are in Crocodilian Halloween. This is the entire month of October I am giving to crocodilians. So I'm reviewing movies that they are in all month long, leading up to October, where we will rank the movies that we have reviewed. But I don't have any crocodile-themed figures to review. However, I did decide to review this one since I literally just got it in the mail today. Like, it literally just came. Fortunately, it has loose legs. But I still really like it. And if you are a collector of Jurassic Park, you will obviously know this is the Suchomimus, the second one that Mattel's made. And I've got a lot of stuff to compare it to on the side, so I decided just to take a little break from crocodiles and do a review on this, since once again I literally just got in the mail today. So, without any further ado, let's look at it. Now guys, if you see specific areas of it shining, that's because we put it's like a spray. It's like a spray, but it comes out more of like a foam. You spray it onto a figure and then it soaks in. And after it soaks in, it kind of loosens up a joint. I mean, this area is just shiny by itself because that's the kind of paint that they used. But this area is slightly more shiny, and that's because of that. I haven't completely washed it off the one areas, so But in case you're wondering what that is, there you go. But I like this figure. It just had a bit of tough to do action features at first, and that's probably because mine came really tight. But now it's loose and it's a bit easier to do, although still a bit tough because occasionally it does that. And if you do it like this, then it likes to freeze. Well, it ain't doing it right now. The legs are also really loose, like the Triceratops, and unlike that, which was on all fours, this thing's on two legs, so it's got harder time standing. And that's probably because the legs are atrociously loose. I need to find a way to tighten these up. I managed to tighten up the Albertosaurus's legs, which, fun fact, let me go get it real quick. I had an ingenious idea. Stuff some cardboard up into those legs, so, well, there goes that. Now, the legs aren't as slidey, you see, they aren't moving. I mean, it feels like they are, but they're not. See, look at this. Okay, now that one leg is moving, but the other one ain't moving at all, it is still. So, good job on my part for tightening up the legs on this thing, so now it won't drop down. If I find some yellow cardboard, I might do the same thing for this guy. Which, I kind of plan on doing that when I get the Spinosaurus, because people have constantly complained about the loose legs on that. I believe that's a way I can just stuff the cardboard, into the legs. I stuffed it in, the actual crack, you see the, crack in the joint there. I stuffed it in there. It's a very careful process in order to not scratch the figure, but basically I just stuffed it in there, then it sort of tightened up the leg, and I've seen plenty of people complaining about loose legs on that thing, so I'm thinking I might just do that to the Spino as a precaution. But as you can see, that's one flaw about the action feature, at least on this one. I don't own the previous one, so I wouldn't know on there, but jaw doesn't close up all the way, and I think one of the reasons why the feature is harder on this one, at least for me, let me get it to stand, here we go, is because of the second button. Now the second button, and this one makes a sound, but I don't know what that sound is. It's like it's rubbing up against the other button. But also, mine has a bit of wear and tear, because if you can see, there's a crack right there. And that's just like moving the tail. Like as soon as it's there, it's okay, but also here is a bit of a crack. So I have a few cracks on this figure, but it's nothing minor or major. It's okay. But once again, this button is still really tight, and it also makes an odd noise. And to be honest, I would have preferred if the tail didn't have that action feature. But when you're doing the other one, you see this? See, the other button also moves. So when you're doing it, the tail also kind of shifts. So it's like a weird combination of like the jaw moving and the tail shifting places. So I don't know what's up with that. Like, I would have preferred if they just kept the original like action feature and just repainted it entirely. Like, that would have been just cool. Once again, this is my first Suchomimus, and I'm already loving it. Part of it's because of the cool feature, which is a bit harder on mine, but it could still grab stuff. Like, I've got plenty of sharks that it can grab. See, there it is. Like, if we can do this right. I'm not pushing down on the button, and the tail is moving. So that's a bit of an issue. Once again, I wish they would have just repainted the original, but the color looks cool. The color on it looks really good. I also love the eyes, like especially on this side. The eyes on it are just really cool. I also like the pink inside the mouth, which they've also like used for the Albertosaurus. Like overall, the paint job just looks great. Apart from the, you know, never paint the hand claws. Even though on this one, yeah, you could definitely paint those. Although on here the toe claws are black, so I might go into my paints and find like a similar black, and I might just go ahead and paint that myself since they failed to do it on this for some odd reason. Teeth look good, although there is one problem I have about the head entirely. Look at that. There's a weird underbite in this figure. Like, it just looks kind of awkward. Especially from the front where you can see, like, you can see, like, that's, the bottom jaw is, like, slightly longer than the top jaw. It's also got, like, scratches on its side. Like, if you can see here, it's got some, like, deep scratches. Which I'm not a huge fan of that. Like, I love scarring when you can, like, do something with it. Here, they just add random scratches, and it just kind of doesn't work. Especially on the Allosaurus. Like, I really don't like the scratches it has. Like, on Rexy, they actually mean something. Whereas they never put good scratches on these. Except for the Albertosaurus, which does have good paint on it. But, okay. It, like, swayed down for a second. But, apart from everything else, the detailing is really good. I like the scales on the hands. Like, how they sort of continue up. And then it's got, like, this really, like, crocodilian type of a sculpt. And I have another figure with that kind of detailing, and I'll show you it later. We're doing the comparisons, but it's really similar to that, especially in the coloring as well. I like the spines going down the back, although this is another reason why I wish they would have kept just the original action feature, because now you've got two gaps where you could have only had one. So overall, I'm just not liking it as much as the original. Of course, like all these figures, the feet can move. Which, thankfully, for this one, they didn't do the terrible thing of putting the things on the feet. Like you can see, it doesn't even have the pegs for that. The feet on this look really big from the bottom, but then you flip it over and you're like, okay, that looks right. They just look really big from the underside. I love the arms. Like, I love how they look, especially the claws. I mean, they aren't painted, which sucks. But I love how they're, like, designed. Like, they look really good. Overall, this figure just looks good, and it's just the action features where it kind of goes down. In fact, I thought get him stand. There we go. Thought I had a shark. Here we go. There you go. There's a shark for you. Bit hard to grab with this thing. Done. Well, I can't throw it with this. Unlike the Torbosaurus, which I'll show you later, there is a fun little feature on that one where you can actually stick a figure in its mouth and then you can throw it, so. But still, really good figure. I like the Suchomimus. Anyways, let's get on to some comparisons. Alright, so this is the Suchomimus compared with the T-Rex from a random playset that I got. Like, Ted Brothers also has it, and it's like a weird like dino fortress. And I have that set if you guys want me to review it, because I certainly can. It also came with like another smaller dinosaur. But this was the T-Rex of the set, which I use these T-Rexes as Giganotosaurus since they have longer arms when compared to the Mattel variations. But this was not my original. This was the one that I bought in that set. I actually used the other Ultimasaurus, Giganotosaurus, basically just gave it away there, for something else. And I'm pretty sure you were just able to guess what it is. I was gonna like show it off in like a repaint video, but then that didn't work out so well. So like you would have seen it in the background. But eventually I'll show it off in a video. In fact, it's literally right behind me, looking terrifying already. Even if I need to get more sculpting material with it for it. And you know what? Now that I really say that, it makes my art class feel pointless. Like, I have an art class in my school, like, that I have to go to. And every time I go in there, it sucks. And that's probably because the art that they teach me in there is totally the wrong kind. Like, I work with acrylic paints, washes, matte varnish, which protects paint, gloss, sculpting material. I sometimes cut things from figures to make other figures, which is what I had to do for the project over here. So basically, my art class is totally pointless because that stuff is way above coloring, drawing, tracing, and just drawing shapes for absolutely no reason. So that class really feels pointless now that I think about it. But I chose to keep this one because I really love the coloring on this one. Like, it's like a... Let me get accentuated, I was about to say before I cut myself out. But this one's like an orangish red in it with a black, and it's really good. Also, this one has working electronics. Light up feature's stupid, of course. And I would at least expect them to like give it a proper pupil to like make the eyes realistic when they lit up. That would be good. But if I ever made another of what I'm making, then I would probably use another one of these. But I would probably do that. Like, I would probably give it a pupil, and then I would just have the light up feature. But if I would ever do that, I would actually try to sell it. So if you guys are interested, I can make a second if you want one. And of course, when it's done, you'll be able to see that. But if you guys are interested, I am kind of really thinking about that. So hit me up in the comments down below if you're interested in that. I'm not sure what price I would give yet, because I'm not sure how much it would really value. But all I know is that's my plan, if I ever make a second. But comparing these two, the Suchomimus seems a lot bigger here, because it's actually almost as tall as what I consider the Giganotosaurus. But of course, Giga is much larger as far as body size, so. But of course, screw holes. Why screw holes? I don't like when they do this. Like, this is something that's way better than Hasbro, yet they still have screw holes on them. Why? And like, the coloring doesn't even continue to the tail, which is really odd. But overall, it's a good figure. It's just outmatched by the Suchomimus, really. So, Sucho, I actually think, is better. But I think you can still function with them. I think they're okay. I have no idea what this guy is. Like, I just found him in the boxed set that I bought, and I have no idea what he is, because he's not blatantly obvious, because I assume that he's an Allosaurus, but when compared to the human figures that came with him, he is way too small. Especially alongside these. In fact, do I have a human figure nearby? I think I do. Yeah, guys, a human is taller than this thing. Wherever this is supposed to be an Allosaurus. It is not accurate in size. Even if I did use it for one of the Jurassic Park Return of the Dinosaurs episode, which you did actually see it in Watery Grave. So go check that out if you haven't yet. But it has freaky looking fingers. Like, just look at that. They're even like webbed. Like, I think I may honestly just go and cut that out, like the accidental webbing of the fingers. But that's odd that that's here. And of course, stupid screw holes, man. But I do like the head, and I really like the eye. I really like how the eye's painted. Also really like the paint job. And all the, like, this thing is so extremely detailed. Like, just like the Sucho. Like, if we can get up close into here, you see all those scales. Getting a close up on this. Check out all this detailing. There's only really a couple areas where it's smooth, and that's on the underbelly. So really comparable, these two, as far as detailing. But I really like the paint scheme on this. It's like a chaos effect type thing. Like the chaos effect Velociraptor. Looks great. But yeah, these two are definitely not sizable. Like, if this was real life, this would have to be not even juvenile. It's somewhere in between baby and juvenile Allosaurus. Done. Carnotaurus, of course, as they were originally both from the same line. These two are really good. Like, if I could actually, like, stand the Sucho normally. Of course, this leg doesn't want to move. Blech. They are, like, the exact same size. Of course, Carnotaurus is just a bit taller. But they are really good for each other. And they also have, like, similar action features. I really love this Carnotaurus, by the way. Like, I think the new one looks good, but this one, if it's not one of their best figures, it's easily one of their most memorable. Definitely. Yeah, these two are really good for each other. Like, I actually really like these two. Like, you could definitely have some fights with these guys. Alright guys, I have had this figure for a little while. This is Status Mecorium. I actually recently just found him at my local Walmart. Like, they just literally restocked their Jurassic World sections, finally. I wanted to check to see if it's still there today, but unfortunately I couldn't. But these two are, like, extremely similar in size. I say Sucho's got a bigger body, but definitely a much thicker neck and head on this guy. Also, a much thicker tail. And thicker legs. So overall, this guy is mostly thicker, but then Sucho just has a bulkier body. But once again, very comparable in detail, because like if we could see this, look at all this stuff. He's even got like little horns, little protruding horns on his legs. The arms I really love the arms, because they're like this crocodilian-like texture. It looks so good. Also like the underbelly. It's really nicely detailed. But one of the flaws that oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, if you're seeing red on this figure, that's because I actually used it for one of the Jurassic Park Return of the Dinosaurs episodes. It is just standard acrylic paint, so it does wash off. But keep in mind, I just haven't washed it off yet, but that's just what it is in case of, you know, BRB, in case you're wondering what that is. But the major problem I have with this thing, they once again put the stupid things on the feet, and this time it really affected. Like, look at this. Just pulling him out of the box, like untwisting the thing and then taking him out. Yeah. The legs, there's like a gap in between the legs and the foot, because if you know, the foot actually turns. So I have a huge gap there because those stupid things, they're keeping him in the box. So I am still against those things. Keep in mind, I hate them. But as far as figures go, yeah, these two are just perfect. Like, I really love both of these guys. I just say the head's better on the Suchomimus. Meanwhile, the tail's worse on the Sucho. And I say the action feature's better on this one. But overall, as far as detail and the look goes, really nice on both of them. Crocodilian, Sarcosuchus, they're compatible. I mean, this Sarco is just like one of Mattel's best figures, easily. Like, I will do a top 10 on this, but once again, I'm thinking it may actually be like a top 20. Because there are so many figures I really want to put on there. Especially this guy. Like, you'll see him high up on that list. But, really good figure, this guy. And I say he's compatible with the Suchomimus. Here's another one that I do not like the scratches on. Oh, and also, this one has some of it on the teeth, some of it on the bottom jaw, and some of it on the neck. Once again, I used this for Jurassic Park Return of the Dinosaurs episode. So, immediately, because of also like the seams, like mine has a bizarre head seam with tail. So I say instantly, Sucho's better. Still love his electronics work after, like, I believe it's like been a full year now. And most of my figures haven't lasted that long. Triceratops. These two are compatible. I mean, this trike just has like sound effects. So I say these two are good. And come on, you knew I had to do this sooner or later. Baryonyx. And Baryonyx is basically dwarfed by this thing. It actually looks really tiny on camera. Or at least to me right now. Like, look at it. It's so small compared to the Sucho. It is dwarfed by the Sucho. Oh man, but great figures, these two. Like, these two are definitely just brilliant. Brilliant figures. Velociraptor Echo. I say these two are in good scale. Once again, just grabbing him is difficult with this mechanism. And guys, I lead it to this one, Torbosaurus, because my only real issue with this is, for one, the short legs, but also the size of it is way off. Like you can see, it's almost the same size as the Suchomimus, when in reality, it should be just slightly smaller than T-Rex, along with the Splatosaurus. So, yeah, the size of this thing is just way off. But other than that, I have really liked it. Like, it's actually been growing on me. So, I believe I gave it a 6 for its original rating. I think I'm gonna have to rise it up. I think I'm gonna have to give it an 8, because it's only, like, the size and the short legs are the problem for me. Oh, and a little something. I hinted at that, so... See this raptor? This thing is a perfect size to fit Torbosaurus' mouth. Still was originally. There it goes. I'll see if I can throw him. That's fun. Like, you can actually really do that with this raptor. Because he's more straight, so there's no really, like, limbs or, like, neck for him to get caught on. So he's really good with the Tortosaurus. That's it, guys. So, as far as this guy, what are his negatives? The tail, because the tail looks a lot like a toy. I don't like the new button. I wish they would have painted the front claws, but overall, I think I'm going to have to give this guy a solid 7, because I feel like he deserves it. And who knows, maybe I'll get the original Sucho, and then maybe I'll like this guy even more.